Hello?
Hey, Danny. How's things, brother?
God, looks complicated there. Hey guys, hello.
Yeah, good, mate. We're good. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. It's complicated on Ben's side because he's got all the buttons, but yeah, Bell and I just
Hey.
We're just gonna have chats.
We got.
Awesome. Hey, obviously we're not live, eh?
No, it's just all pre-recorded. So yeah, you can, if there's anything that you don't want in, we can chop or change or anything you want to start again. Do whatever.
Hey, on that note, there's nothing. You can ask me anything. There's nothing like that. There's never anything you need to cut out. Do you mind if I record us doing this interview?
Yeah.
It's cool. Cool.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
me
totally
social
fine,
medias are good because you're on record. No, legends. Thank you so much for having me on here.
No worries, mate. Yeah, well, if you're ready whenever, we'll kick into it.
Is my sound okay? My audio good?
Yeah, I appreciate the pro mic setup. It sounds very, very crisp.
Yeah.
I could even put the headphones on if we wanted to, but we don't need to do that, do we? No worries,
Alright,
guys.
let's do it. Okay. We're speaking to a reformed criminal, Danny Shannon, who actually escaped from prison. Good morning, Danny. I mean, for starters, how'd you do it?
Good morning. How did I escape from prison or how did I get off the drugs? Because they're both equally as hard to do, I guess.
Yeah.
You want to know about the jailbreak straight up the bat?
Let's start there. There.
On the 6th of February 2001, it was my partner's birthday. She actually also had a big bundle of my cash on the outside, and I'd spent around about 18 months in that same prison, and I'd spotted this weakness in the security of the fence that was just itching at me to sort of give it a try and a nudge to get out. As I said, my partner had a big bundle of my money, and it was, as you can imagine, being a drug addict in prison with your girl, with your money, it's a bit of a concern for starters, having her with me money, and secondly, just wanting to get out there and spend it. That night on the 6th of February, well, that day I give her a phone call and I said, listen, Michelle, if I could come home tonight, would that be okay? It's like I wanted her permission, and I'm sure she just rolled her eyes. I'm sure she just rolled her eyes and thinking, yeah, sure, Danny. And I was part of this like religious program that was held in the visiting areas on a Wednesday evening, and it was there that I done the bolt from. At the end of the and by the way, I used to attend that event because I used to have really good coffee and biscuits. That's why I went, not for any other reason. However, at the end of the event, right, everyone's in there holding hands, singing saying a prayer or something, and I've ducked out the back and shimmied my way up this 24-foot fence. And I say it now, I wonder, I think I was on the corner, and there was just one spot in the whole jail that the barrel, because at the top of these fences, right, there's a big 4-foot barrel that leans over, so it makes it impossible to get over it. But this spot of the jail, there was two barrels met each other, so one had to lean the other way. And it was there that I managed to scale on top of that fence. I remember as I took that last leap on top of the fence with my arm, thinking if I fall, I'm dead. There's no way, because it's a long way down. Yeah. And sure enough, I got on top of the fence, but I'm still in the middle of the jail, but I've still got about 75 metres to get along that fence to get to the perimeter. And as I was making my way, almost like a kamikaze, just sneaking across the fence, I got spotted by an officer. I call him Mr. Singh because he had the big turban around his head, and I just remember him. It's like I can only imagine what he would have thought, seeing a prisoner up on top of the fence doing an 8:30 p.m. perimeter search, and he was straight on the radio to the squad, which is the outside jail unit, and the police, and I had to run and skip my way through razor wire, cutting my leg to pieces, and launched off the top of this fence, which I always had plans in my head to sort of slide down off the barrel and drop, but I had to jump. I ended up a black arm from my shoulder to my wrist, running down Holker Street towards Parramatta River, where at the top of the street, the dog squad, the cops, the MEU were chasing me. I managed to jump a couple of fences at the bottom of that street and dived into Parramatta River, shark-infested river, bleeding, pitch dark. It's about 100 metres to get to the other side. By this time, water police had been deployed, pole airs up in the air, the police helicopters, and I made it to the other side of the river where I was in mud up to my neck, and they couldn't see me, mate. Water police were just there, and they were unable to see me because I was in mud. So yeah, look, I basically, sorry if I'm jumping in and telling the story a bit, cutting you off there. I hope I wasn't cutting you off.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no. This is...
You're just going, yeah.
This is what we want, right?
All right, so I get to the... yeah, sorry.
How long were you on the run after that?
Mate, it's such a romantic story, right? Because I left with the missus and I got caught on Valentine's Day, so the 6th of February, and I got thrown into the Perth Watch House on Valentine's Day, and I always talk about how romantic that was, you know, me and my partner. She got done for harbouring an escapee, so she was locked up too, bless her. That night, after I arrived home to her place, I picked her up. My mum's house, my dad's house, her house was all simultaneously raided by the coppers, and I got away. I made it to Perth, mate. So yeah, happy days.
And so what's the plan after that? Are you trying to get out of the country? You know that's not possible. Like, you're obviously not intending on getting back to prison anytime soon if you've just gone to those lengths to escape.
Look, I don't know about other addicts, but I wasn't really that clever, you know. Like I would have these great plans, but my plan was everything's gonna be okay. I shit you not. The next day, I had my mum and my dad in a hotel room with me in Liverpool, right? I'd already been pulled over by coppers who questioned me, and I gave a fake name and I got away. But anyway, mum and dad's there. I'm telling them it's going to be okay. I'm with my partner. My arm's black from my shoulder to my wrist. I can't move. I said, it's going to be okay. We're going to go to Perth. It's going to be all right, you know, and just delusional, bro. Like, I really just wanted to use drugs, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess you then go back into prison. How long are you back in prison for? And then how'd you get off the drugs, Danny?
Yeah, look, I spent the next 4 or 5 years back in prison. That certainly was not the end of it. In 2009, by the way, an escapee is always maximum security prison. But in 2009, after around 49 attempts at getting clean and sober, jails, institutions, a whole lot of pain, hurt and misery, I always kind of tried to stop using drugs. I just could never do it. I'd get to a centre and I'd pull the pin, I'd leave. I'd have a feeling. Basically, I'd sober up. I'd go in there stoned, and by the time I'd straighten up, I'd leave. And this time I just did things different, mate. I started making some phone calls to some centres. I was accepted into another program. I got to that program. Anyway, Christmas Day 2009, I was about 60 days clean, and I went home for the family Christmas, and as you could imagine, I was full of shame and guilt. I'm very lucky to even be invited home for Christmas. I'm sitting around the family Christmas table with 15 loved ones who I'd hurt, stolen and robbed every single one of them, and I just thought that day, I remember leaving there that day saying, I can't do this no more. I'm going to get on, and this is the turning point. This is the day my life changed forever. I was standing, after that Christmas lunch, I was standing at Town Hall Station. To my right was King's Cross. That's where I was going to buy some heroin and some cocaine. I knew what would happen. I'd end up back in prison, back in rehab, dead. But I didn't know what would happen if I didn't, you know. And across the road was the bus that took me back to rehab that day. And for the very first time that day, I made, drug addicts don't commit to getting on, about to hand over the money and change their mind. It's just not a thing. But that day, I thought about the consequences, and I made a different decision that day. I did not get on, and one foot in front of the other, one day at a time. Ever since, I've continued to move forward. I work my ass off. I'm not saying it's been easy, but it's definitely been worth it. And today I'm blessed to be 14 years, 4 months and 2 days since I've had a drink or a drug. So incredibly blessed.
Danny, that's incredible.
That's
Tell you what.
Thank you.
Danny,
Yeah.
Where are you at now? What is your day-to-day life now?
Mate, it's crazy. I got the sack, believe it or not. I worked in rehab for 10 years. 10 solid years, which was incredible. That place changed my life. And honestly, so I worked in one of the rehabs that I went through, and for 10 years I built myself this incredible life worth living, you know. It got me really involved in recovery, but I ended up losing my job. I say I got the sack, it's true. It was due to my social media presence around about 18 months ago now, and at the time it felt like losing a limb because I thought, oh my God, you know. But you know what I did? I said, I can do this on my own, you know. I've got all this experience. I have people reaching out to me regularly. I've got a social media presence, and I started putting together the life I've got today, you know. So today I spend my days just helping people. I run groups, online groups. I do one-on-one work, and I'm also the founder of Encapsulator, which is my video journal app, a mobile app, where you record video messages to your future self. We've got 30 expert designed programs, anything from, you know, pregnant mums, drug addiction to gratitude. Basically, you choose a program. It's a video journal where you can express yourself in a private, confidential space without any fear of judgment. And the idea is that when we start talking about some of that stuff that we often have bottled up inside, you know, the stuff we do, when we go talk to a therapist or a counsellor, we always have some kind of front on. Is that true? Do you think you could be completely honest? Is there anyone in your life you could be completely honest with? Well, not in my experience anyway, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think at the end of the day there's anyone aside from yourself. No.
Yeah, so what we do is we provide this safe place for you to express yourself without fear of judgment. And the idea is when you verbalize your goals out loud, you make yourself accountable and motivated to achieve those goals too. And more importantly, what happened when I first recorded the very first video, time capsule it was back then, I just noticed this really unique therapeutic process. This was me talking to my future self. I thought about my mum, my dad, my son, who spent, you know, the first half of his life visiting me in jails and institutions, and my daughter didn't even exist. So I watched that video 5 years later, and I just got these goosebumps thinking, look how far I'd come, and I'd basically transformed that into Encapsulator. So it's available on iOS and Android. There's a free version with all the benefits that people can use. So that's what I do, mate. My day is, this is my little office. I do a lot of social media stuff too. I'm blessed to have a little bit of a presence out there on social media. Danny Shannon, if anyone wanted to check me out. And we've also got the Sober Squad. So there's a page and a community group with over 50,000 members, which are just engaging regularly all day, supporting one another, sharing their own drug and alcohol transformation journeys.
Danny, what an incredible story, mate. I mean, I feel like with you, it's like you come for the prison break, you stay for, you're turning your life around. Like the two incredible stories there, and what a life. Good on you for helping others now as well.
Danny, before we let you go, I guess I've got one more question that I've been wondering the entire time.
Please.
Do you know if they ever fixed that flaw in the system with the fence barrels?
Look, yeah, I'm sure they did. I'm sure that, but we're incredibly resourceful people, us addicts wanting to get on. There's nothing that we can't achieve. Yeah, I'm sure they did. I remember that I also climbed out of a third-story window of a rehab a long time ago, right? And I'll just quickly throw this in there. And I remember going back to that, and I got out, like from a third story. I tied sheets up and climbed down the wall, right? And years later, when I went back to that rehab, that window, those windows had all bars on it because of me, you know? So
the Danny window.
Yeah. But
mate, well, Danny Shannon is where you can check him out on socials. Appreciate all your time this morning, mate.
Thanks so much, guys. Sorry I talked so much. I didn't really get to let you guys say anything. I talked too much, huh?
No.
That's the point.
Yeah, great.
That's it.
Your time.
We talk all the time on this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to hearing myself on radio.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cheers. Thanks.
See you guys.
See you, mate.
Bye.
You.
Thank you.
Brother. Bye, mate.